mindfulness in daily life is how to be attentive to thought patterns that are just not helpful, particularly thought patterns that are kind of take you back into the past, and we end up sort of dwelling and ruminating on things. And I think that can happen a lot when you drive in a car, when you're walking from A to B. Unwittingly, we get caught in these dwelling, what if, why did I do that, kind of thought patterns I think we're all familiar with. Wish I'd done it differently, why did I do that? Often there's a kind of self-judging theme is, you were so stupid to think like that or behave like that. Before we know it, we're caught in this kind of rumination cycle. And I think that what that does is it cuts us off from awareness. We lose the awareness, and we're in this sort of tape, this mind tape, which is really tedious, boring, It doesn't go anywhere. All it does is it makes you either anxious or down, And I think that can happen really quickly in daily life. So finding ways to help disengage from that, and instead, I think, cultivate more forward-looking, proactive thought patterns. Even in simple ways, like looking forward to something, looking forward to a cup of coffee, or looking forward to meeting somebody, looking forward to going for a walk in the park. That's one thing, which is the looking forward, which is positive focused, more forward-looking on positive things. Or otherwise, just being very aware of the environment you're moving through and sort of making that one's meditation, as it were. I think it's really good for the daily life practice to bring the settling, grounding, resting support alive into daily life. So then there's a link between the sitting practice, where you're sitting on a cushion, and then moving around, and the two are linked. So the idea of the settling would be that if you're noticing you're quite agitated, feeling quite tense, if possible to really pause and just deepen the breathing. If you're sitting on a train or sitting somewhere, even walking, deepen the in-breath. Feel how the breathing brings one into the body. And then consciously extend the out-breath. So deepen in-breath, extend the out-breath. So you're just working with deepening and slowing the breathing, like we do in settling. Maybe not having to count as well, that could be a bit tricky. And I think that what that does is it brings one more into the body, okay? So then whatever one's doing, if we're walking down the street, just to be aware of actually the body moving, the contact with the feet on the ground. And to have a sense of a kind of almost a joy in that simplicity of, I'm just walking, I'm feeling my feet on the ground. I'm actually aware I'm in a body, not just disembodied. And we notice when you get caught in that kind of ruminatory pattern, you get disembodied. It disembodies you. You get caught up in this cycle of thinking that takes you out of the moment and out of the body. So what can really help is the breathing, deepening the breath, consciously coming into the body, which is like the grounding phase. And then resting would be to actually be just aware of the space you're moving through. The sounds, other people around, sunshine. To just be aware of the broader kind of space that one is walking through, if you're walking. I think where two things, you notice you speeding up and getting agitated, where you don't have to, maybe if you have to go somewhere by a certain time, you might have to just go with that, But if you notice yourself speeding up and getting agitated where you don't have to, then using that as a trigger, okay, now is there some way I can use that routine I've been practicing to bring me more present? So use the breathing, consciously slowing down, maybe walking slower, or if you're sitting, paying attention to the deepening in-breath, extending the out-breath, consciously coming into the body, like I said, the grounding. Resting is opening up to the environment we're moving through. So using when we're getting anxious and agitated is one trigger. The other thing is, as soon as you notice you're going into your favorite ruminatory dwelling thought patterns, which we all know so well, okay? have that as an intention at the beginning. You know, when I'm going to go into these dwelling ruminatory patterns, that's my trigger. That I'm going to try to come back to the elements of the settling, grounding practice. Okay, that's going to help me now. Otherwise, there's no point in having done it. You know, what's the point of having done that in the morning if during the day you're just going to be lost in painful ruminations? You know.